America, land of hope and opportunity. As the poem inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, the new Colossus goes, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." This is the symbol that America represents to many across the globe. The promise of the American dream. We at Phi Theta Kappa have been given the privilege to interview first and second generation immigrants and hear their tales and their stories of their American dream. Our guest list includes Stanford Lackey, Ethan Bangert, Yuhong Pang, Elijah Bishop, Raymond Phillip, Aki Kumar, and Simon Nagantio.
So, the first question I have for you is, what did the American dream mean to you before coming to the United States?
The American dream meant a chance, an opportunity that I could take advantage of and not only better my lot in life, but better my family's lot as well.
I was quite young when I moved out here. I was 18, almost 18, and it was the late 90s. There was a lot of exciting stuff happening in the world. The information age was in full bloom. The internet had arrived in India, and so there was this new world that had just exploded. Compared to the 80s, I'm really an 80s kid, but the 90s is where I got to see the world and experience it through the internet. And so the excitement of that was a big part of this American dream. And it could have meant everything and anything, from everything that you saw in Hollywood and music videos on MTV, and all the economic opportunities that IT and software and all of that world was, the world of technology was providing. But in a basic sense, it meant a big step up from the very uh, the rat race kind of environment that you can find yourself in a country like India, where it's highly competitive. Back then, infrastructure was not very good. I don't know how much better it is, but it's certainly better now than it used to be. There was corruption, rampant corruption in the bureaucracy. So there were hurdles every single step of the way, whatever your way is. And you looked at a place like the US and everything seemed to be much better, right? So there's that simple aspect of living and accomplishing your dreams.
When I came to the U.S., I was really young, so I didn't really know much about the U.S. But now that I'm here, and growing up a little bit, I feel like, just being here, I'm living an American dream. I can kind of speak how I want. I don't have to follow a certain religion without, getting burnt alive. It's so it's being free to be able to think what you want, believe in who you want, vote for who you want. And yeah, that's basically it.
Mostly that I get a college education and I have the First Amendment.
Okay, before I was in my country, I never heard a lot of about American dream, and for me, the American dream is just a new life and face many challenges.
I gotta be honest with that question, and that's a very good question to ask someone who has never been to America. Uh, Coming to America, the American dream, first of all, in the eyes of most immigrants, it is something that is not achievable because, of course, it is in the name, the American dream. So you have to achieve the first thing, which is get to America, which from most countries it is expensive. So personally, to me, the American dream it was something that you see in TVs where you see a very successful person having no worries of finances. You're living a very good life with no, like, the everyday issues that in the third world countries experience, where it is like shortage of water, shortage of electricity, and everything like that.
Why did you come to America, and what were your goals? Kind of touch a little bit on it.
So I came to America because the opportunity existed, the chance arose, and it would have been profoundly foolish of me to not take it. I was in the midst of a whole host of other things that I was doing. I was juggling many plates, just seeing which one would allow me to progress my life. And then all of a sudden I had the opportunity to immigrate to America. And I thought, I have this entire life. This life I've spent the past quarter century building. And now I have the opportunity to abandon all of that. And I mean, I was doing a lot of things. And I could leave all of that there and pursue the unknown in America. And I can't even call it a choice, because I knew immediately, time for me to get up there. So I dropped everything I was doing, and I said my goodbyes, and I came to America with a suitcase and
I wanted to explore freedoms in different sorts and forms. Mostly, I wanted to fulfill and maximize my talents. I thought I had certain talents as a programmer. I have since revised my thinking on that. I think I'm an absolutely average programmer, and some of the code I wrote is terrible. And I feel bad for anybody using that software. Sorry, Adobe. But I'm kidding. I was okay. I didn't suck, but I wasn't exceptional, right? But when you're 17 and 16 and 18, you think you're the king of everything you do. So I really had that ambition and hope in me that I would go on and become something in this field. When the reality was, I really wanted stability and freedom to explore myself, which I really found in the world of music. And that is my true calling in so many ways. And I found that true calling within what I think is one of the greatest American products and exports and cultural creations, which is jazz and blues especially. So that's without even realizing it, that was what I was pursuing. And so now, of course, I'm looking back and giving you this answer. When I was 18, I wouldn't have been able to tell you this, but this is really what I wanted to find, was myself and a fulfillment of the best of my talents.
Well, I had no choice. I was, a young kid. My parents actually came up here before me, but they brought me up here just for a better opportunity, And I say it's been worth it. Just, I'm able to attend college. I finished throughout high school. A lot of the kids down there, after sixth grade, they were done with education. They didn't have all these opportunities.
Was coming to America worth it, and are you better off?
Yeah. Now, again, it's impossible to answer. What if I'd stayed in Bombay and won the lottery and become a billionaire? Yeah, of course, it would have been better back home. Because in India, because of the social inequalities that exist, I would have had an army of servants, right? And the best I would have been able to afford here is a butler. So I can't speculate as to how successful I would have been or not been. But knowing myself, I'm a slow-moving individual. I'm risk averse. I kind of bide my time, slowly build up into things. And I think, given that personality of mine, the U.S. provided the best opportunities for me to explore myself and grow into myself. Just become who I envisioned myself to be. So yes, absolutely worth it for me.
Yes. The American dream may not be as promised to some people as, it's seen. They might not see, it might not be as advertised as it was on the TV, but you get so many opportunities here that you wouldn't get in some third world countries. Some people, there's places there's constant war, constant. Some kids can't go to school, some kids aren't eating. So.
What has been your biggest struggle as an immigrant in America?
I think my biggest struggle was with people making like racist jokes about me from being from the Philippines and like a third world country and stuff like that, and that I had to move here to achieve something great.
Well, I've faced a lot of struggles. Not because I was an immigrant, but mostly because of my skin color. And I didn't know that this level of racism existed here in the U.S. because over there in the Middle East, it's mostly it's like you'll go there and you'll see everybody speaking Arabic, but they're all like colors of the rainbow. And it's like I'll come here and I'm like, well, why would you divide yourself among each other? You know?
So what troubles did I face? Just normal troubles that where you just try to figure out who am I? Am I going to be accepted as a first-tier citizen, as a first-tier person or entity in any social setting? And if not, what do I have to change or adjust in order to get there? That's really the only thing I think most outsiders are considering at all times.
Well, my struggles, I feel like to most people it'll be something little, but I just feel like when I came up here, first I didn't speak proper English, so kids over here they kids are immature, so that really the jokes and throughout my whole school year, just how I spoke, I did things, it was different, but I feel like as I got older, it didn't bother me too much, I feel like I just turned out fine,
What role has community played in your journey?
Like my friends and family and like my church that I go to, they've helped me push through different struggles, like through racism and just me like not feeling like I sometimes I'm not a part of the community, and they've just made me feel connected and closer to each other and stuff like that.
I want to say that my family and my friends, they've helped me. They've supported me, especially when I just got here. Because when I got here, I was new in high school, and I didn't know much about the U.S. itself, and my aunts, my uncles, family, they were already living here, and they understood that for me it's like a completely new world.
They helped me out, when I felt like I couldn't fit in with all the kids because of the cultural difference, really pushed me to succeed. Just being there, being able to, them being here longer, being able to help me and guide me, show me.
Do you believe that immigrants have a different idea of the American dream compared to people born in the United States?
Yes, because people from other countries, they don't actually see the reality of the American dream. They mostly just see it through social media or TV and YouTube, stuff like that. Um, well, I had a different view after coming here to the U.S. Because I thought the American dream was something completely different. You know?
Yes, because, some immigrants may not have as a big opportunity as people born here, so coming down here, just being able to speak on your religion, that might be, a great opportunity for them. And someone being born here, they, owning a big house, that might be an American dream to them. So it really all depends on their concept of the American dream.
That you have succeeded in your American dream, and what factors have played into that?
I think I'm on my way to get my goal, and that's my family and my real power.
I was actually thinking about this. So generally, I have succeeded because getting to America by itself is something that is very great for me. And I would say that I might not be living my American dream, but I know I'm living someone's American dream. Because I know that someone back home is like, oh my God, I wish I could have gone to America and everything. But I know that coming to America, studying over here, getting a degree over here, meeting the people over here, all of the connections that I have at the moment, that is something so huge to me. And I think I've achieved the 2020s Raymond American dream. But personally, currently, I still have my American dream, which is my American dream is hopefully by a certain point and age to have a family, to have a house and everything. All of those achievements, that's my American dream.
Yeah, actually, just me being here, being able to attend college, graduating high school, that's most people from where I'm from couldn't even do that. So just that is already great, and being able to move forward, for greater opportunities as I grow, that's yeah.
What's helped you accomplish that?
I say friends and family. My parents, they lived down there too when they came up here. It was a big struggle, because they came up here at an older age. So, and the generation they came, the generation they didn't have all these opportunities like we do now. They didn't have so they went through all that, and they were still able to make an opportunity for me and all my siblings. So yeah, that really encouraged me to keep going and meet my goals.
Do you believe it's still possible for immigrants today to achieve the American dream? Why or why not?
I don't know. I don't know what the American dream is anymore, to be quite honest. I mean, you've asked me specifically about immigrants, but I would say, generally speaking, I don't know what the American dream is for Americans, natural-born Americans. Economically speaking, we're looking at AI, at least on paper, taking over a large swath of the economy, right? And a lot of automation is taking place. So jobs themselves, which are really a part of this American dream concept, are no longer what they used to be 20 years ago. Can everybody afford housing? I don't know. I mean, when I moved out here in the 90s, yeah, the natural progression, and I did this. I'm in my garage, but I got a job, I got a degree, I got a job, a good job, and I was able to put a down payment on a house in my mid-20s, right? How can you say that anymore? I don't know. And I'm talking about non-immigrants here. You add the immigrant layer on top of it, many countries, I mean, unless you come from a first-tier, Nordic Scandinavian country where a lot of metrics are better than American metrics, unless you're from there, you're probably coming from an economically or culturally distressed country. And so those things have probably gotten worse in the last 20 years. So what is the dream for immigrants coming from those places? As of yesterday, if you had an H-1B, you're now looking at a $100,000 fee, right? I mean, things have changed overnight since you sent me the list of questions. So I have no idea how to answer that anymore as far as immigrants go. What does an immigrant do anymore? I don't know.
Yes, because first of all, if everybody has a different standard for the American dream, but everybody has an equal opportunity. It may be harder, there may be a language barrier, there might be, just financial things, but everybody does have an equal opportunity to succeed in whatever their goal is at the end of the day.
If you could give advice to a new immigrant today, what would you say?
Yeah, just practice English hard.
I would say pursue your dream. Nothing can stop you. That's it.
I would say it isn't advice so much as an observation. And it wouldn't just apply to myself, but also to Americans as well. Having generational wealth isn't just having money. Having generational wealth is having a network of people who have known you since you were a child. Your parents, your grandparents, that is generational wealth. Having that network, that support system. People who will be there for you when you need help. The reason why I have been able to achieve what I have been able to achieve, again, is because of my father and my stepmother. They aren't terribly wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. But their generational wealth, to me, has been room and board. So I don't have to pay rent or buy food for myself. If you can find a network of people who will be strong for you in this moment where you are weak, where you are your most vulnerable, when you're a student, when you're a recent immigrant, people who will set you up in a position where you can succeed later on at their own expense. That is something that is beyond valuable.
Take advantage of the opportunities you got. It may not seem like, it may seem like everybody's against you. You will face hardships. Just because you're coming from a whole different space, everything is different here. But just keep going through it, and I promise it'll just, you'll see results.
Thank you for watching. We hope that this documentary has shown you some new perspectives, and perhaps gotten you to reflect on, well, your own. What does your American dream look like?